Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all persuasions. It is I, Gayla, and welcome back to Book Uncorked and Caffeinated. Today is definitely a Books and Caffeine. It is pumpkin spice season, baby. I have all of the things. I can't wait to Trader Joe's come out with all their pumpkin stuff. I have some pumpkin coffee left over from last year and it's not expired yet, thank God. So I have pumpkin coffee. I use some pumpkin syrup and I don't have my pumpkin creamer yet. But I had to let me turn this off. Who is texting the G so early in the morning? But anywho, it's in my pumpkin queen cup, and I also have one that says pumpkin spice and everything nice. So we're gonna get started this morning. So today, when I'm recording this, August 30th, which is a Saturday. So I'll post tomorrow, the 31st, which is the last of the month. And right before I go back to my regular 9 to 5 with the children. So I wanted to get in my August reads and continue on with my reading journey for the rest of the year. I think my original reading count for Goodreads, it was 30 books, and then I heard 30 super quickly, and then I went up to 50, and I said, okay, I'm gonna leave it at 50. But I think right now I'm at like 60, and I think after today I will be almost at 70, not quite, maybe like 67, 68. I'm not gonna move my reading goal anymore. I'm just gonna see how far I go above the reading goal. Last year I did 111, something like that. I'm not trying to beat that goal. I'm just saying those were the numbers so far. But let's get started. Let's get us a sip. I had like 1 or 2 sips, but let's get a sip with you guys. And it's a very pretty day outside, but I'm super tired because I've been trying to be in the street before school starts. But let's get started. So August was supposed to be my YA reads, and for the most part it has been, but I have about 3 more books, if I'm honest, 4 more books that I want to do for my YA. So YA may still continue in September, which is fine because it's back to school, so it kind of goes with the theme of my life. But let's talk about the books I've read for the month of August. Tiffany D. Jackson Grown. She is well known for her YA writings, and actually this was not the first book I read by her. The first book I read by her was Blood in the Water when it came out in like June, and then that led me on to read this book. This book was very provocative. It has a lot of trigger warnings. I think it's one that should be read by teenagers, but I also think it should be read in a environment where they were able to have conversations. So if they're not reading in a school, maybe reading it with a parent. It talks about SA, it talks about grooming, it talks about the music industry and how that can be a process of grooming. This was a very interesting read. Heartbreaking at times, but unfortunately realistic. But this was a great read for young people, and I think all young people, boys and girls, should read this. But they should read it with like a trusted adult so they can talk about like the themes that's in the book. So that was Tiffany. Then I was on vacation and I was gonna read like a bunch of like Italian books that I haven't read. But One Italian Summer by Rebecca Sir. She wrote also In 5 Years. And this was just a cutesy book to lay on the beach. And it was about a character whose mother's died and she went back like to Italy to just, figure out life and how to move forward. And so it was like a little love story. With like her heritage, but also a romantic love in this book. So this was a good book. I loved it. It was great for a beach read, for sure. Then I was bringing it up with Black Kids. This book, Christina Hammond Reed. This book was about the early 90s, the LA riots. Black kids, going to school of affluent means, going to school with others, whoever they were, but also still being treated as second-class citizens. This book was a little triggering to me as an adult. They used the N-word a lot coming from like white people or white, children, and not being checked on it. And because, she was trying to fit in. But also realizing all that was going around with like the LA riots and Rodney King and all of that, and just trying to understand her place in the world. This is another good book, because these conversations are not far off of what's happening today. So this is another good book to read with young people. So if they have questions and want to talk about provocative topics, this is also a book to read. Then I followed that up with Layla Motley, The Girls Who Grew Big. Another provocative book. This was very a provocative month, talking about young people. These were about some young girls from all walks of life, black, white, affluent, not, who were teenage mothers, and began to have a support system for one another. But it was always murky, right? Because some of them were wanted by family, some of them weren't. Family did accept them because of the pregnancy. And talked about things like abortion. So this is another very provocative book that can be read, again, by both sexes, because there was a lot of male influence in here, not in a positive way. And so this was a really good book, and it makes me want to go back and read her first novel, Night Crawling. So I might pick that up later on in the year. But this was really a good book, and I think the cover is amazing. And last but not least, of my physical books, since I have two audio books, is Beach Read by Emily Henry. I'm actually in the middle, not in the middle. I am about to enter chapter 22. Let me find it. 22. And it has, okay, I'm about to enter 22, and it has, I think, 28 chapters. So I'm thinking I can finish this by tomorrow, because I want it to be, it's not exactly a part of, it's 28 chapters. So hopefully I can get through it by tomorrow. It's good so far. It's about two writers who bump into one another. One writer is having some financial issues. The other one has had a really acclaimed career. They start seeing one another in this small town that one lives there and one ran away to go there because her father died, so she had some property there. It's a good, beach read. Everyone sings Emily Henry's praises. It's not that I don't like it, but it's not like something that I'm like, oh, I gotta read this. So, and I think this might be my first one by her. And I had it for a couple of years, so I'm just not getting into it. But I definitely want to read it, because the throw will be gone for me if I enter this book into September. Just because it says beach read is really summary, and I really have a lot of fall books I would like to read. So I'm going to try to finish this, and I will let you know on screen whether I finished it or not before I post this video. So yeah, beach read. So those were my physical reads. And so now I'm going to talk about my Audible or audio reads. Let me get my phone. So the first one I read or listened to was hold on. The first one, it was 10,000 Hours with a Rich Menace. This was by Jaquel J. This is the Castle family. The other one has just come out, so I'm gonna get that. But this one was about a young lady going through growing pains. She had a friend that kind of duped her into scamming people, and the person that they scammed, that winds up being her lover. His name is Menace. That's not his real name. I forgot his real name, but that was his nickname on the street. And he was trying to turn away from those ways, having real businesses, not really being in the street. But these people stole $40,000 from him. He was like, that's not how it's gonna go. She got caught first. And so her friend even offered up her virginity to be like, she's a virgin, you can get with her. And it was like, wow. But this was a really steamy, urban fiction read. It was interesting, and I'm just interested in the next book in the series. And then the next one, I will have it on screen as well, by Kimberly Brown, A Justified Affair, Love Affair. And this was also in a duology. And in this particular book, the young lady was married, found out her husband was cheating on her. And then she met a man in the midst of it, a justified love affair. And she got her lick back, but then they really started to like one another. And her husband was really a jerk, because he was like, I love you, I love you, I love you. And then the person he was having an affair with actually wound up pregnant, and he wanted to well, let's not say he wanted the baby, but he offered to be with his wife and give up his rights as a father to this young lady. And she was like, you can't possibly love me if you would give up on your child like that. So it was a very interesting read, but steamy, hot, you know, urban fiction, get your good look back. So yeah, those were the 7 books, if I complete beach read, but those were the 7 books I read in the month of August. Reading has slowed down for me only because I just wanted to chill. Like, I have a lot of books on my TBR, a lot of books in my Libby app and um, Audible app, but I'm just chilling. I'm not necessarily wanting to get up and read every day. But I think I said I was going to do a 100-page challenge before, and it didn't quite work. But I'm going to try to do that in September. Every day read 100 pages, at least 50 to 100 pages. Let me make it easy on myself. But other than that, I'm just taking it easy, enjoying my last few days before school starts. And yeah, just continue to read, trying to make some changes to my channel and do all the things and read all the books. Like I said in the beginning of this journey, I will be reading whether I do this channel or not. So, but the channel is making me consistent with what I have on my TBR. And so, yeah, that's what it is. I think I'm actually going to take a nap. It's still not 12 yet. So I think I'm going to just take a nap or whatever like that. But do all the things. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you next video. Bye. Deuces.